Welcome back. I've been joined now by two guests to speak on the state of the nation and recent happenings around. I've been joined by, to my left, Chief Patrick Eholor. He is a human rights activist and entrepreneur and is also a politician. To my right, I have Mr. Ihienseken Jr. He's a legal practitioner and a human rights lawyer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you, sir.
Thanks so much.
Welcome. All right, sir. Let's start off the bat with some comments by the EFCC chairman talking about Mr. Ola Olu Koyede. He made mention that 7 out of 10 Nigerian, let me get the right word he said, 7 out of 10 students today are involved in cyber crimes. I'd like to get a reaction to that.
Well, I think my reaction is not all that different from every other Nigerian reaction. As a matter of fact, I thought I read that today. I did a video that already went viral, and I think it's reckless, I mean, I remember my late friend, the mentor brother, Fela Rason Kutsi. He said Nigeria as a country is the only country that would say my people are useless, my people are stupid. See, I never heard that kind of word before, How can you, an EFCC boss, say 7 out of 10 Nigerians are fraudulent or they are cyber criminals? I mean, you have people who use drugs in America, you have people who did drugs in America, but you can never hear a responsible FBI chief to come out and say that Americans are into drugs or they're dealing or they're smoking. I think he owed Nigerian students an apology because you have devalued and demarket the student who have pride going to school to read and be a humble citizen. You know what I mean? So I think so much power has been given to these people, and that's why they are very reckless. For example, himself, who is very reckless now, he doesn't have the qualification to even be the EFCC boss because he was promoted because of nepotism and favoritism. I took him to court. I was in court recently. Benin High Court to challenge his appointment. So I think he owes Nigeria students apology. Nobody will say that. You don't go out there and say your family is useless. I mean, it's preposterous. I'm very offended by it. As a matter of fact, you also owe me an apology because I have children. I'm the father of Nigerian students in school. So you cannot tell me that my children are cyber criminals.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm really speaking to the comments that were made on Monday. So let's get your perspective here, Mr. Ihienseken Jr. Does this count as profiling? Is this something?
Yes. This is a stereotype, and it comes within the meaning of it was made. We heard it on the internet, and it's quite unfortunate that someone at the level of the EFCC chairman, without actually taking his time to watch and gauge his statement, he has to make such very loud statement without no basics. Upon what imperative statistics did they come about to label Nigerian students as very criminally minded, to engage with inference, to engage in the practice of what we know as internet fraud, otherwise known as Yahoo. It is not actually palatable. It is actually a demotivation of a very hardworking Nigerian student. I've actually met some very fantastic young Nigerian students. I have a couple of them following me online, and some of them come to me to mentor them on the way forward. So I'm speaking as a stakeholder, and because I still see myself as a student. I went through the 4 walls of the school. I graduated. I know what it means to be a student. Mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, that is the most difficult time of your life. And to hear the EFCC chairman make such very deranging and so defamatory statement, it's uncalled for. So I urge him, I'm not asking him to, because of this, resign, but for morality's sake, for conscience sake, and legally, because what he has done is that the same section 25 of the Cybercrime Prohibition Act that prohibits cyber stalking, cyberbullying, indirectly he's bullying the students by calling them such name. So he's guilty of section 25 of the Cybercrime Prohibition Act, and if we want to press charges, we'll go by that section and we'll go after him. So I'm urging him to retract that statement. If not, there will be consequences legally. Thank you.
Indeed, it's similar to the one we heard in the last administration about lazy Nigerian youths, which did not sit well with people, and hopefully this joins the advocacy to get them to do the right thing. So let's quickly move that to the Nigerian budget now. I'll just read just one line from that. We have for 2024 budget, Tinubu Shetima strips means to go up 10 billion naira as villas animals get 201 million naira. This is also, coming off the bat for the COP28, where about 400 delegates, according to the government, were sponsored over there for millions of naira. So, speaking about the budget, I'd like to get your thoughts on this new budget that we're seeing and the projections we've been hearing. What do you make of it?
Well, it's simple. It will be surprising for those who don't read, but for us who find time to read and analyze things, I think it's not shocking, it's not surprising, because Tinubu said it's going to continue from the Buhari administration. Buhari administration is the worst administration. If there's something that's less than zero, I would call it's an administration zero failure abysmally. Okay. Now, this is the administration who's budgeting about 10 billion for food and animals and all, right? It's an administration who said, just on lip service, that they value education, they value students. And this administration was budgeting, right, 5 billion as a loan, not even a grant to students. I wouldn't have had enough for this country when times are hard for the student, that is why this EFCC chairman is making this inflammatory statement, because they don't have respect for students, they don't have respect for us as citizens. And now the same administration is also budgeting 1.5 billion for the office of the First Lady, which is morally irresponsible, because there's nothing such in the act as a First Lady office. Why are you proposing such a huge amount when the ordinary Nigeria cannot have 3 square meters? When the students here can't even have a grant, you're calling them a loan, and you are putting, this unimaginable money into such things. And again, they're also going to buy a yacht for 5.something billion. When country is broke, and you are telling us, a president, that we in Nigeria should sacrifice. What are you sacrificing, President Tinubu and Shetima? What are you sacrificing? What are the National Assembly sacrificing? When you are buying a yacht, you are equally proposing to buy a car of 160 million to the National Assembly and House of Assembly. And even from my own investigation, because I have been said that there, the car they are even buying is padded. They are supposed to buy a Prado. To deliver a Prado Jeep to your doorstep, brand new one, is 68 and 70 million with the current exchange rate today, and they are calling it 160 million. But Nigeria has not been able to ask the question: the essence of the money, where is it going to? It's going to those people who can pay for them, Emiloko and others, who said they will win the election by every means necessary, because they settle a lot of people. So they have to appease those who they settle and make other Nigerian people suffer. Now, we talk about the palliative. We talked about the subsidy. Have we asked the question? What have we said? If we have said, why are the savings not benefiting the ordinary citizen like me and you? So the budget is laughable. Everybody knows it's laughable. But we are going to continue to speak truth to power. We're going to resist them by every legal means necessarily.
So what signs do you think the government can show that will make Nigerians believe that they are sacrificing as much as they are?
It's very simple. For example, the office of the First Lady, which is unconstitutional, 1.5 billion is a lot of money. They should sacrifice that. Recognize that yes, he has a First Lady, but not to put Nigeria into suffering and appease the wife with 1.5 billion. No. Show the sign again. We don't need a yacht now. How many times does Tinubu has to go to cruise? Forget about that money. The animal you are budgeting 210 million for. Forget about the animal. Let the human being live first. So there are a lot of sacrifices they have to do. And also too, very good question. The National Assembly, if they have been using Kekenepe to go to work before they were elected, they should continue with that, to sacrifice for us. If they have a Pojo they have been driving, they should continue to drive that Pojo, to sacrifice. When the country becomes, booming, and we have recovered from this palliative measure, we call Babangida call his own austerity measure, which is a palliative and subsidy measure. If we recover from this palliative and subsidy measure, then if they want to have private jet each from the National Assembly, good luck, they can have it. Unless we know that the ordinary citizen can have 3 square meters. We can afford to buy cooking gas. We can afford to buy petrol. Then they can have this luxury they are asking for. They're not asking them that they don't deserve luxury. But you cannot have this luxury to the detriment of your citizens.
Fair enough. Mr. Ihienseken, I'd like to get your thoughts on the budget and what your expectations are.
The chief already said the much I would have said, but you see, when I'm speaking from the other side, from when the common man is not seeing the impact of some certain governmental policies, their own way of reaction is they are nonchalant about it. The question I want to put to the handlers of Nigeria, my friends in the National Assembly and at the executive level, they should please take steps that are not inimical to the well-being of Nigerians. You see, I looked at the budget. In my own sincere opinion, I have issues with some of the proposals and the figures they put there. And you see, it has gotten to a point whereby some Nigerians who don't even believe anything the executive, because we know it will not impact on the well-being of the ordinary Nigerian. So the only thing I want them to, in their good conscience, let them have a rethink and a change of mind, so that the proposition by people saying that Nigeria cannot be reformed, let them prove them wrong. But as far as this government is concerned, my position is I don't have belief in them. I don't see them, they cannot achieve anything.
But is that subject to change?
The budget, we're in a second show again. It's going to be a full comedy. I personally don't believe in this government.
All right, so let's hope the government can do something to change that. Just kind of speak on a very important matter here. I'm sure you're aware of the accidental killings of over 80 persons. The figures vary in Kaduna by the Nigerian army. I'd like to get your thoughts on that and what you think should be done.
Well, for me, if you ask my thought of that, I think what happened there is genocide. You know, because you cannot take the life of about 80-something or something. There are speculations, right? So if we were in an ideal society, for example, like America or Canada or whatever, right? But now, the service chief of staff, army chief of staff, will have resigned with shame. The defense, whatever, should have resigned by now. Not going there, you know, to go and say that we admit that we did it. We thought it was terrorism. I mean, in this age, come on, we would have known that, you know, they will have a drone, they will have some mechanism to check out the spots where you have, you know, the hotspot and all that, you know. So going to go and bomb innocent Nigeria and not even having the empathy or sympathy, we have a lot of them in the hospital, I think it's a disgrace to the entire nation, it's a disgrace to the military, you know. I mean, you know, there's what you can just say is accident, okay? We are not in Gaza, for God's sake. We are not in a situation when the Israelis and the Hamas are fighting, they are targeting themselves and they are retaliating each other because the Hamas want to go and kill some Israelis, and Israelis are trying to, you know, make sure that they wipe out the Hamas in Gaza. But we are talking about Kaduna, we're talking about Nigeria, right? So I don't know how on earth would Tinubu administration sleep over this matter and let the army chief of staff and the defense chief of staff to hold their position. I think they have insulted the entire Nigerians for allowing them to stay there more in office. We cannot continue like this. All right? They are responsible. They are responsible. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, they are responsible. The first they have to do is to resign and apologize to Nigeria.
That's fair enough. What about the victims? Definitely you can't return persons who are dead. What do you think can be done for the families, the friends?
There's no amount of money that can bring them back. But again, maybe the brilliant lawyer will share his thoughts on that. But if they don't, we are going to look at the provisions of the law. As a human rights activist, as a lawyer who's also a humanist, we have to look at the provision of the law, how to represent those people who were, you know, wrongfully or accidentally killed, so that they can have you know, compensation, because they left a loved one behind. We cannot allow them to perish like that. Also allow the loved one to suffer the injustice that is done to them.
Fair enough. Mr. Ihienseken.
You know, we have been on this page for a very long time, and we've handled things like Key Massacre, which till tomorrow the army is still denying. But this one, they came out to say it was done. There was no denial for this. You see, this is what we have always, the means of engagement. This is outrageous. this is highly. I don't. You see, I feel first and foremost, my sincere condolence to the people Agabi where that thing happened, and we are not insulting their sensitivity by discussing on these issues, but we have been on this same. I know how many letters I've written to Defense Headquarters on issues of rules of engagement. This is not there was even a time an army officer, a supposedly army officer, called me and threatened me on phone that the tone of my letters is not acceptable by him. And I said, my friend, you are a lawyer like me. If you have a problem with my letter, you either write back to me, or if you see I've gone flout of any rules, report me to the POLITY. And he kept his mouth shut. But you see, I've actually reached out to Serap. And Serap is already on it. I don't want to prejudice and give opinions as to what will happen next. And also, I'm also in constant touch with my friend who's from that area. I think beyond all these rhetorics, beyond apologies, I'm going to put pressure. I'm going to talk to this civil society. They should not close their eyes. I'm going to speak to the head of the civil society. They should not close their eyes. This matter will be addressed appropriately. If it means us, we have to take it to the ICC. We cannot just continue like this. We cannot, just in seconds, we'll take it to the ICC and will not stop at the level of the ICC. The ECOWAS courts, they have always been hearing matters that involve Nigerian army. They will also get involved. But I think in a couple of days, Serap is already on it, and a position will be given as to this issue. Thank you
so much, Thank you so much, to Patrick. I'm so sorry we've run out of time. Hopefully we can do this again and we'll have more time to speak. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers.
All right, that's all for today on The Polity. Don't forget, The Polity reaches you live every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Do join us once again. Mercy Babajide will be here tomorrow to bring to you analysis on the state of the nation, politics, and governance. Have a nice day. I'm Amadin Ogbewe.